how can you be most productive? For most people, that is building some kind of routine that way you know what's going on in your schedule. And also, hint, hint, when you have kids, the kids know what's going on in the schedule. Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm a mom of two and under. And on this channel, we talk about motherhood and parenting, the first 5 videos of the year, including this video. We're talking about the best ways to relieve mental load off of our poor moms, because heaven knows we need all of the mental capacity that we can possibly get. Today, we're going to be talking about scheduling, master schedules / time blocking, because who knew I was doing time blocking wrong? Of course, because I do everything wrong at least once. Trust me, if you're not doing something wrong, then you're not learning. So it's okay to do things wrong. First of all, what is time blocking? I'm going to link 2 videos down below in the description that taught me about what time blocking was. One is, I believe, the OG time blocker, and I'm blanking on her name. I will insert here, probably up here, because she's that important. And I will link hers, and then I will also link another video by another creator that I actually saw first and turned me back to the OG creator of time blocking. We'll take my shot at what time blocking actually is, and this is how I understand it. Time blocking is building these blocks of time that are usually 2.5 to 3.5 hours long that allow you to have your mind in a certain space. In this video, we're going to talk about which time blocks are going to be which parts of the day. And we're also going to be grouping the things that we're going to have to do during the week into buckets that will fit in certain times of the day. So that is my understanding of time blocking, and I hope it is enough, but if it's not, I do have those other 2 videos linked down below. So we first are going to write out our must-dos that we need to get done. And then after that, we will group them into times of the day where they will fit best. And excuse the possible congestion, possible coughs, sniffles, all of that, because I am still sick for, it's like a week and a half at this point, but I don't really see an end in sight. But anyway, must do. This would include, of course, we have to block out time for sleep. That is probably the most important time. It is when your body heals itself. It is when your mind heals itself. And it's when you're able to actually let your body do its thing. Sleep is some of the most important things in our ability to parent and be mothers. So the next must do that everyone needs is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You need meal times, and you need prep times for those meal times. Sometimes you can do it really fast. Sometimes you need a little bit of extra time to make it work. But you need meal times. You need time to run errands, whether you are just ordering your groceries or if you're doing pickup, which, by the way, if you do Walmart, you can pick up your groceries for free. You don't have to have Walmart Plus. So hint, hint, guys, it does take off some mental load because you don't have to drag your kids through the store. You can do things that are a little bit more fun for them instead during your time out. You need time out of the house for yourself and your kids. For me, I have church on Sunday. Granted, that will not fit nicely into a day. Hopefully, all of your days would be the same, but in my case, Sunday will be a different block schedule. Time blocking works best if it's the same every day, or maybe an A-B schedule similar to how you do at school. That was something very important that the OG time blocking creator taught me when I was watching her video about this. So now let's go over sections of the day. But before we do that, comment some of your must-dos, maybe some that I mentioned, maybe some that I didn't. Sometimes we miss things that we need to do. And so definitely comment down below. I will post mine right here in a picture. All right, now sections of the day. A lot of people get up before their kids. For me, if I try to get up before my kids just get up earlier. So I get up at the same time as my kids, at least that's the goal. A lot of times I have been getting up later than my kids, which is a whole different brand of difficult to handle and deal with. So we are, of course, going to say, okay, 8 o'clock is get up time. That is when my alarm goes off. That's when the kids' light comes on, and hopefully that's when they sleep too. In all honesty, the kids can generally wake up between 7 and 8:30 for my household. So our first block of the day would be our morning block. Our next section of the day would be lunch and nap time for my younger daughter and quiet-ish time for my older daughter. She needs brain stimulation because right now all she wants to do is watch shows on either my tablet or my phone. And quite honestly, I would prefer to take that time that her sister is napping to spend time just with her so that she knows that she's important and it's not just all about little sister. The next section of the day would be the afternoon section, and this is the hardest section for me to figure out what I'm going to be doing during, because it's hard to get out at that time of day because my older one, if I'm out too late, will fall asleep on the way home. And then it becomes a problem. I've got a hangnail. Okay, anyway, sorry. But at the same time, that could be a good time to get out of the house as well. But then there's really no downtime other than nap time for my younger daughter. So I don't know. I haven't quite decided. We can figure it out in a little bit. Then the final block of time, it is getting ready for bed and bedtime for my kids. And for me, after just a little bit after that, it would be work time as well for working on my YouTube channel. And then after that, it would be me time, getting ready for bed and then just reading a book or something, like simple and easy. I, as we found out last week, have a screen time problem. So certain times of the day, I need to make sure that I am completely unplugged. Otherwise, things will just snowball into craziness and insanity. You need to figure out exactly what you want to do and what things fit in your time block. Otherwise, the whole point is gone. You need to be able to turn your brain off from the previous time block and on for the next block to be able to be most productive in your day. If you found this helpful so far, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe. I so appreciate all of the love and support that I have been getting so far on my channel, and I hope to get good enough to be actually helpful to more people. I know a lot of people are probably wondering, will this even work for me? Because I am just not sure, and quite honestly, I can't guarantee that something like this will work, but I know that the vast majority of people, it's easier to make sure that you have some kind of routine. Excuse me. You know, that darn being sick. For the vast majority of people, having some kind of routine and some kind of structure to the day helps them to be able to be more productive and less stressed, because you don't have to plan your day every single day all the time. This is the section where I'm going to give you exactly where my time blocks are and also exactly what would be in my time blocks, because oh my gosh, the first time I tried to record this, it was all over the place. So let's try this again. My first block would be 8 to 9:30-ish most of the time. 8 to 9:30 is our morning block, and that is when I get myself up, get the kids up, get them ready, and also we do breakfast in that time. 9:30 to 12 would be our outing block, and that is when we would do all of the outings for the day, because the afternoon is just not a good time because of how my kids' schedule is kind of made out. So outings would include all appointments, errands, grocery shopping, yeah, everything really. All of that goes there. So play dates and park visits and library and all of that goes in the morning block. Now, the next block is noon to 3, and that block is our lunch/nap time block. And this is also when I would do preschool like stuff, learning activities with my older daughter, because she does not nap. Yes, I'm aware she dropped her nap early, but it's worked for us. So she hasn't napped in, golly, probably 6 months, at least not regularly, at least 6 months, probably more like 8 that she has not napped. So during this time we have lunch, and then 1 to 3 technically is nap time for my younger daughter. And during that time, it's learning time and potentially screen time for my older daughter. And it's also individual time for mommy and older daughter, because she definitely needs that time. Parents know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you need specified time with your kids. And for her, this is that time. We would read, I would read individually sometimes, and I might potentially do dinner prep as well, depending on how hands-on and how much time I'll need for dinner prep. So next block is 3 to 6:30. And that is because my husband doesn't get home from work until about 6. And that means he still has to eat dinner too. Because during this time period, we have chores. Chores is where I would teach our girls how to clean up after themselves. I would also do whatever is on my chore list for the day. Potentially, sometimes I might do that while my kids are taking a bath. It just depends on what the chore is. We would do laundry during this time as well because my kids love helping with laundry. It's their favorite thing in the world, and I don't really blame them. They don't like folding the clothes, which what 3-year-old, not even 3-year-old would be able to fold clothes. Not my kids and not me when I was 3. My brain just stopped functioning. Give me a second to rewire everything back up. So we would do chores and teach chores and cleaning up. The other thing that we would have to do is dinner prep, making dinner, having dinner. I'm not going to make sure that we clean up dinner during this time because my husband does get home so late during that time and he has to eat dinner too, unless I just have something separate for him to have heated up, because I do try to have dinner around 5, but it hardly ever happens, especially because I know my husband isn't going to be home till 6 at the earliest. Technically, afternoon is the title I've given to it, is my afternoon block, but it's kind of a mix of a few different things. The final block, well, not final block, but the final block where my kids are awake is bedtime block, and that is 6:30 to 9. My kids actually go to bed at 7. 6:30 to 7 is when we do our bedtime routine with them, and sometimes my husband will initiate a cleanup time with my older daughter, have her help clean up the living room, and like tonight, he actually had her help with putting away the kids' clothes because I actually made a system so that they would be able to help if they wanted to, and they'd also be able to know where their clothes are. So he utilized that system and had them help put away clothes. It ended up being mostly my older daughter because my younger daughter, she was still in the bath. So he initiates a little cleanup session for my older daughter specifically, because my younger daughter takes more time getting ready for bed. Oh yeah, and then after the kids go to bed, we would do a quick cleanup, including loading the dishwasher, and then I work on my YouTube channel until 9 o'clock. Once it hits 9 o'clock, I need to shut it off, because if I don't, then I will end up working like way into the night, and it frazzles me. Plus, if I know that's my time period, I can unplug from everything else and know that this is the time period that I'm doing it. Anybody can do anything for 15 minutes or for, a half hour or, however long you want to put it. If there is a designated stopping point, you can do anything and focus on anything for a certain amount of time. So that's my thought process with that. Once it hits 9 o'clock, then 9 to 11 or 11:30 would be my nighttime routine. That is when my husband and I would get ready for bed. And when we would, as long as my husband's not sick and hasn't been up at crazy hours for work and school and things, 9 o'clock is plenty early enough for him to get ready for bed. It's me time. I get to read or write in my journal or do things that are me time things. And then from 11:30 to 8 the next morning is scheduled sleep time. I'm aware that that's more than what typically is needed for most adults, but I'm finding that I am not sleeping enough and I have a hard time falling asleep in general. So just because I have it as sleep time on my schedule does not mean that I'm actually sleeping the whole time. I am attempting to sleep the whole time. But I do know that I probably will not be sleeping that whole time. If I do, great. If not, then oh well. This is my block schedule, my master schedule for my day. Obviously, Sundays are going to be a little bit different. We have church at my non-outing block. It's actually right in the middle of nap time. So that is a completely different schedule, and it's kind of just Sunday schedule. So hopefully this has been helpful. This is my playlist of mental load reducers. And this one will be my screen time video that I did last week, where we discovered that I really did have a huge screen time problem, especially when I'm sick. So I will see you in one of those.